Welcome to Bro Turn.
Welcome everybody back to a brand new episode of the Bro Time Podcast. And with me I have Travis Grimes and Thomas Turner. Guys, man, I've been trying to get y'all for like almost a year now, and we finally made it.
We finally got it.
Finally got it. So starts off, just tell us a little bit about yourselves, like what y'all do and like what's your majors and stuff.
All right, I'll go first.
All right.
A little more interesting. So, hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Turner. Me and Tyler go way back.
Yeah, we do.
But I'm a junior here at University of Mobile. I should probably stop talking so loud, but I'm a presidential fellow here, which is basically an ambassador for the president's office, and we do a lot of really cool stuff. We get to be a part of a lot of really cool stuff. But I'm also an RA, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm actually on an RA shift at Bedsole, in case you wanted to know. And I'm studying music education, so I want to be a band director and minister to kids. Hopefully in a high school, a Christian high school or a public school. You can still do ministry kind of stuff in public school. So that's kind of the dream: be a high school band director. But yeah,
Cool. Travis.
My name is Travis Grimes. I'm an accountant at Lexus of Mobile. I'm also a worship leader at Stillwater Church. And I have a little side hustle where I do freelance bookkeeping. And I'm also getting a job at Taco Mama.
what?
And then I also do music on the side. I play saxophone and guitar, and a little bit of piano. And I graduated from University of Mobile this past May.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so y'all are both in Ramcorps, or like we're in Ramcorps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you're still in Ramcorps.
Still in the group.
But
Three
yeah,
strong.
so like, what kind of instruments did y'all play and things like that? And like, what did y'all like about it?
So I play saxophone in the group, and I kind of play piano, but I also don't. I'm taking classes for it, so I'm getting better. But the only one that I really claim is saxophone.
Awesome. Travis?
I play saxophone. I was the best at it. And then
He's also the most humble.
and I play acoustic guitar, and I've gotten better at piano, so I can say I play piano now.
For sure.
And also I'm not a vocalist, but I sing, like I lead worship and stuff. You asked us like what we liked about Ramcorps.
Mhm.
Well, I like traveling, honestly, meeting new people in new places. All the inside jokes, that was really funny. It was so much fun. Those van rides, man.
Yeah, I went to Cuba and stuff, and they did a song
Yeah, that was not funny.
Yeah.
No, the trip back from that was horrible.
Oh man. Oh wow. Yeah. I remember y'all were telling me that. Yeah. Yeah. So now y'all are pretty much famous in the movies, okay? Yeah, it's like y'all y'all been pretty much like playing like bad guys and stuff, and
And it's been a great time.
yeah, yeah, just tell us like what was your overall reaction, like how did y'all like feel about it and things like that, and like what did you enjoy most of it?
I like the bloopers.
Bloopers.
Man, it was fun shooting, and then like you can't stand up after laughing so
Yeah.
hard because it's like, Tyler, what are you doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't tell me that line. And,
Yeah.
and it was so funny that one time. I think it was John Riz 1. The freaking bag got stuck on you, and you spent like 45 seconds trying to get the bag off of you, and you wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't say cut. You were just trying to get the stupid bag off of you. And afterwards, you finally hold it and you go, cut. Man, you could have said that 5 minutes ago.
Oh yes, that.
And then when I wouldn't open the elevator, and you're the one filming, you're like, open the elevator, Travis.
Oh.
Open the elevator.
I remember that, man. That was fun. That was awesome.
I remember. I remember there was one time we were out in the well, first of all, one of my favorite moments. I've only been in one movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first time, like one of the first times I ever went in Sanford, which is where I live now.
Uh-huh.
But we went to Sanford, and we went up into the second floor media room.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you're like, all right, I need you to stand on this like pillow or like ottoman thing, and then like, or like, no, I needed to film you.
Yeah, like reaching for
hitting the camera.
Yeah.
But you weren't tall enough to actually hit it.
Yeah, I was.
So you're like,
I was too short.
even on the ottoman, you were like, you're still like jumping. I was like, I'm just sitting there filming. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And then the second thing was, whenever we were in the woods and we were shooting a fight scene.
Yeah.
And I think you punched me across the face, or no. No.
I was doing
yours just video.
Yeah, like I was like acting like it was Ethan who was
Ethan,
supposed to be there.
He was supposed to be there
in person, but like we couldn't have made that work. But thanks to my brilliant camera angle skills,
yeah, you did good.
It looked like that y'all were like it.
Yeah, actually,
like, I was trying to do all the punching like with the camera and stuff, and do the same thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it turned out pretty
good videography but that part was so much fun because I got to actually like fall on the ground and like act like I was getting punched in the face.
Yeah,
and it was great.
Yeah, and yeah. I'm telling man, like y'all are killing me like with the chips. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, fun for me. Funny how that works.
Yeah. All right, next question. So, y'all were formerly like president and vice president of the SGA. So, like, what made y'all like wanting to do that, and like, what was the best part of that? And just the overall experience. How was that?
Well, when I got started, the first year, Luke Graham was my vice president.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But literally, the only thing that made me do it is I saw a sign that said SGA, and I was like, "We have an SGA." And I read it. It's like first ever SGA elections. Sign up today, and I was like, "That'd be cool. That'd be funny. Like, what if I was the president?" And every person I asked, they were like, "Do not run for president." They were like, "Just do something else." Like, why are you? And I was like, "I don't want to do it if I'm not the head honcho." And literally every single person told me not to do it, and they wouldn't vote for me. And then I spent that entire election with Luke Graham, like fighting for my life, trying to get votes, and it worked out.
Wow.
And it was good. I think looking back on it, that was probably the best. Sorry, that was probably the best year.
This is not going to be like. This is all going to stay B or
needs to be censored.
And that year it was spent like we were having fun. Like me and Luke, about the Goggle Ball pit, and we were doing all this stuff, and we were doing all these funny videos. And then at the end of that, Luke was like, "Hey, I can't do it next year." And I was like, "All right, who's gonna be able to keep up that energy? Who do I like to hang with?"
I'm good. I didn't want that. Thank you.
I would have ate that, but I've since just dropped on the ground.
Hey, 5-second rule. Thanks for the
But
second.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I was like, I think I know a guy. So I went and asked Thomas, like, "Thomas, you want to be my vice president?" He was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, he answered kind of quick. Maybe it's a bad idea."
Just like that.
I was like, "Maybe it's a bad idea." And I was like, "Nah, too late now." So we ran again, and we did well. We got the votes. We won, and then that was a long year. It was fun.
You had there's a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, there was just like a big
the disc golf thing.
Yeah, was completely different. Yeah, the disc golf thing.
Oh yeah, you're putting lights up on the disc golf course.
Dude, I fought tooth and nail for that, and they just kept saying no. Like I literally, there was nothing stopping us except well, I'm not gonna name drop, but it just they're just like no, and I was like, okay, whatever. You can explain this to people then, because like there's literally the only thing stopping us is you. But yeah, that was just a long year for me personally. So then it affected SGA, and then SGA kind of got not boring, but it just got difficult. And I think we were just tired of it, not because it's bad, but just 'cause we were burnt out.
Yeah.
Ramcorps traveling a lot, went to Cuba.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. We made the most of it. Thomas was a good VP. Sometimes he was a bad VP. Just like sometimes I was a bad P. But yeah. It was a hoot. I loved being an SGA. It's on my resume. First thing on there.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So next question. Like, so yeah, y'all are just always like just bringing life to the party, any party. Yeah, like, am I saying that right? Yeah, yeah. Like y'all just have that energy, like go just bringing life to the party. Yeah,
Thomas?
yeah. 6, 7. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, you ripped the bag so much that because you've been digging.
They're good.
They are. They're cheap too.
Muncho. Yeah, that's what scared me. The price on the front of the bag. I was like, he's got to be like imported.
You somewhere you're not supposed to be if they got the price on the front of the bags.
All right. No, all right now. All right now. It's trying to get like more serious.
I'm not even here.
Yep. Yep. All right. So, all right now, like now, it's time to get serious. These are serious questions. Time to focus on Jesus right now. Okay.
We didn't even talk about the life of the party.
Yeah, yeah. Let's circle back real quick before we
Okay.
get serious.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to think I'm pretty lively.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if you were to walk into a party, what's the first thing you do?
No, but I like to talk to people. That's what I'm very, very good at. I'm not good at very much anything else actually, other than talking to people. I'm literally like a golden retriever that's untrained in anything. So the only thing a golden retriever is innately good at, other than swimming, because they have webbed feet, is
That's doing a fun fact.
um,
My Thomas impression, anytime he walks in a room with people he doesn't know, is, "Hey, what's your name?" "I'm Thomas."
I can see that.
And then after that, the conversation usually steers to like, "So what do you do?" "Oh, right."
But yeah, in high school, I knew everybody in my class, and it was a big class. It was a big school, and I proudly knew everybody. Dang, you hungry? Are you munching over there?
Talking? Come on.
But anyway, I knew a lot of people, and I never saw people as strangers. I saw people as friends I hadn't met yet.
Mhm.
And so that was like one of my biggest strengths. I was like, no one can beat me. And then I came here and I met Travis,
Mhm.
and during Ram Camp, which is we're at Ramcorps the week before Ramcorps like starts officially, we go through a thing called Ram Camp,
Mhm.
and we basically learn on the music. And Travis, we'd be walking through like the commons or like anywhere on campus, and he would say hey to like 15 people in the span of like 30 seconds, and I'm like, holy crap, how do you know so many people? So I was like, game recognizes game. Take the mic.
Okay, so like, well, like, I do gotta ask you, like, what? I'm trying to remember, like, how I met you. You know, like,
How did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
I don't know. I think we just
I think
met.
Mars. We may have met at Mars Hill
That's right.
because my freshman year I went to Mars Hill a good bit,
Mhm.
and sophomore year really, and then towards the end of sophomore year I started going to Cottage Hill.
Boy loves hills.
Now I'm going to Westmobile Baptist Church, which is a
Westmobile Hill. Westmobile Hill. Keep talking.
But love it there. Love it there. But I think we met at Mars Hill.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think we had seen each other on campus, and then like, I don't know. Like, hey,
Hey, is that?
eventually I'm like, hey, I'm Thomas, and you're like,
Hey, what's up?
I met a guy named Trevor that knew you.
Trevor who?
Don't know.
Trevor
Country
Wood?
plays baseball here.
Oh, Trevor Wood.
No, Trevor. Unless that is his last name.
Trevor Murphy.
I guess
He
he
was
has
he went
and-
redhead.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think I met you, Travis, through David Beasley. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep. Mm-hmm. I remember now. Mm-hmm.
My favorite Tyler Peters memory. We were all at Mars Hill for something. And we were sitting on this big ass table. There was like 10 people on both sides. It was like the Last Supper. And David said some joke. It wasn't funny at all. I don't know what you were on that night, but you thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
We were sitting at the end. And David said it. No one else laughed. You slammed the table and start scream laughing.
I don't remember
And then you
that.
pick up and you run to David and you like hug him and you're like laughing and you run off and we just hear your like
Oh.
running down the freaking church and then it fades off into the distance. And David, he's literally sitting there like, what just happened? And you were like, I've never seen someone so red in my life. Like it was.
Hey, like if it's not funny, but
It must
I
have
don't
tickled your
remember
funny
that.
bone, man. 'Cause, like
I don't remember that.
that's like ingrained in my brain. Like how funny.
I don't remember that. Like,
That's so funny.
like what year was that? Or
That
like,
was probably like my junior year, so 3 years ago.
dang. I do not remember that far back. But yeah, you're right. Wow, that's great.
Time to get serious.
All right. Hey, is that your wallet? Yeah. Okay.
Ain't nothing in it.
Please, y'all,
Cause you're not right.
please rate this episode as number 1, please. This is going to be the funniest episode. Okay. All right. Now it's time to get serious now.
Oh, that's new.
No.
Yeah, they look pretty old, so I asked.
Your mom's so fat. All right, let's get serious.
Okay. Well, wait. Hang on, like, hey, have y'all heard these dad jokes lately? Oh wait, no. Like,
Chuck Norris's email is gmail@chucknorris.com.
Oh man. Oh yeah, like.
Babe Ruth's longest home run was 587 feet. Chuck Norris's shortest home run was 588 feet.
That's nice.
Get it?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Did you get it? All right, let's lock it.
Okay. But yeah, like one was like one dad joke I found online was like he was like, so yeah, like I walk into the store to find some camouflage pants. I can't find
I heard something today and it was like, that sounds like an issue, not an issue me.
any. Nice.
Eh? Get it?
Kinsey Peeringer said that the other day, and everybody just like stared at her like and like.
The
What?
issue thing or the camo pants thing? Which one? Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Now it's time to get serious. All right. Time. Getting to test and all the other time. So how did y'all come to know Christ? Thomas, you want to start?
Yeah, wow, all right.
Or Thomas?
No, I will start because we'll be here all night with this guy.
Okay.
I turned it down.
I'm sure you did. Okay, so growing up, I went to church all my life, as a lot of people's stories is and testimonies and stuff. But I grew up going to church, church called East Point Baptist Church, which is still my home church. Love y'all, East Point, if you're watching. But anyway, kind of grew up in a family that wasn't too like real with their faith, I guess. And so what happened was I I would go to church with my brother, and well, not my brother, but my whole family. But after the main service, big church, it would let out, and me and my brother would like immediately split off and go, and not actually take in any information that we had been given. And so growing up, my faith wasn't really my own, and I didn't really actually understand it. I came at age probably like 8 or 9, something like that, 6 or 7, and gave my life to Christ, like kind of, or just said that because my parents were like pressuring me into doing it, or I felt that it was, or like the church was pressuring me into doing that because it was like, oh, you're at the age where most people would do it, and would actually start thinking about it. So did it, didn't really know what it meant, and then years and years later, I wasn't really following the Lord. I went to multiple Fuge camps, which if you don't know, Fuge is like a Christian summer camp. It's like a really, really good camp. But anyway, and it's all over the nation. But went to one in particular, and I had been going, and it would be like I would have like this spiritual high for like a week and a half or like a week after the camp, and it'd be great. Like my freshman, sophomore, or junior year, or freshman sophomore year, I went and I loved it and had that spiritual high for like a week. Read my Bible, you know, every once in a while, and I was like, wow, that was what a good word. And then I kind of put my Bible on the shelf and go back to same old habits. Um, and then junior year, I went to a Fuge camp, and I think that's where I truly understood what the Bible says, and like that's where I feel like I truly like met the Lord. Um, so after that, it wasn't like I'm on the straight and narrow and like doing everything good, because it's sanctification is a long process, and I was after that I was hungry for like God's word and wanted to get into it more, and then I did, and then I stopped trying to be, because I was like, at the time I had been talking to a lot of not talking to a lot of girls, but was seeking relationships that were not glorifying the Lord, we should say, and never got a girlfriend really. I was like, this kind of sucks. So whenever I started like seeking first the kingdom, um, and His righteousness and all these things will be added unto you or whatever, that's whenever me and Ellie, who's my current girlfriend, kind of started talking, and yeah, that's when we started dating. And then, so like my junior year, we started dating, and then she decided she wanted to go to University of Mobile, which she's a year ahead of me. So she was a junior when we started, or she was a senior when we started dating. I was junior. Then she came here, and been going ever since. And ever since that Fuge camp in my junior year of high school, the summer before my junior year, um, it's just been a constant steady, not, I wouldn't say a constant steady incline of my faith, but like um, I am the Lord's, and I know that, and He is drawing me closer to Him and pulling me back to Him. So
Cool. Travis.
yeah.
Um, cool, Thomas. Yeah, that's good. It's good. I think that's the first time I've ever heard your testimony, actually.
Yeah, first
so-
time. Yep.
First time for everything. Sorry. I didn't grow up in church. I didn't get saved until I was 19 years old. Growing up, I lived in Texas with my mom and my stepdad at the time, and my brother lived out there. And then we moved to Alabama. My brother stayed in Texas. And then from that point until about 8th grade, we moved about 11 different times. We were just extremely unstable, financially insecure. My mom wasn't a Christian. In middle school, I had to live with my mama because me and my mom lived in this crappy rundown trailer with this other guy, and we shared a bed. And I'd wake up at 4 a.m. with her. She'd drop me off at the bus stop at my mama's. I'd go to school, go back to my mama. She'd pick me up at 9 o'clock at night, and we'd go back home just so I could sleep in the same bed as her. That wasn't working, so I lived with my mama for a while. And that's just kind of like a snapshot of like, what my younger life was. There wasn't much happiness, there wasn't much hope, a lot of insecurity, a lot of unstableness. And I didn't know Christ, so I didn't know that there was a solid rock that I could lean on. There was always someone there with me. I just thought that it was me and my mom, and sometimes my mom wasn't even there. And then high school, things kind of settled out. We found a place, and I lived there. And I liked high school. It was fun. I met my best friends there, and you know, one or two of them, they went to church and they were Christians, but I wasn't really surrounded by like Christian people. I was in the band. I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Outside of school, I was doing, normal lost teenage boy stuff, and that's just kind of how I lived my life. I didn't really care, honestly. And then when I decided I wanted to go to school, I thought I was dead set on going to Southern Miss because I was in the drum line and I was going to audition for their drum line and be in it because they had the coolest drum line around, and I was like super excited. I had my audition ready to go, but then both of my roommates bailed last minute. It was like January of 2020. They were like, "Hey, we're not going anymore." I was like, "Perfect, you guys just screwed me." So I was like, I don't know what to do. And my buddy Ryan, he was at the University of Mobile. He was in Ramcorps, and he was like, "Hey, you should try out for Ramcorps because I play saxophone too." And he was like, audition for Ramcorps. And I was like, why would I do that? He was like, well, we went on a cruise last year. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go audition for that. And so I auditioned. I told myself, if I make it, I'll just go to UM, make my life easier. I ended up making it in the Ramcorps, so I was like, whatever, UM it is. Didn't tour the school, didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know what a Baptist school was. I just thought it meant it was like small and full of homeschool people, which was like 90% right. But then obviously I graduated in 2020, which meant COVID hit in March, and so it kind of like shut everything down. Not kind of, it shut everything down, and I spent that summer, really alone, just like a lot of people. So going in to school, my first semester here, there were 7 people in my first class. We were 6 feet away. We had to wear masks. And it was just not fun. I did not enjoy my time here. I got diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I was just super like uncomfortable here. I wasn't having fun. Ramcorps wasn't going anywhere. I just felt like I was just kind of wandering around. I didn't know anything, and I also got pretty peeved off when I checked my schedule and realized that chapel was just church on Wednesdays. So I took it off my schedule. And because I didn't know what a Baptist school was, and I got here and I found out like it meant that I had to go to church and know what all that was. I was like, I don't want to do that. So I took it off my schedule. It was just frustrating, a frustrating year all around. But then that summer after, I was like, man, I need to make the best of this because like I'm here. I'm already a year in. I'm just gonna stick it out. So my sophomore year, I went into it with a better mindset, and it was pretty fun. I met new people. A guy named Jack Mims joined the group. I started dating a girl, and her family they were all saved. She was saved. They got me into church. Ramcorps was getting me into church every weekend, and Jack Mims was speaking church into my ear any chance he got. And I got very tiring sometimes. So I was like, man, Jack, shut up. Like, I do not care about whatever you're talking about. But he was just such a good friend to me that, I still listened. So that whole year was just a year of seeds being planted and then the people around me watering them. I mean, God was using all the people around me to just pour into me, to show me, like, what true love is, to show me what grace is, what mercy is, what joy is. Because I was noticing things, like, during hard times, people were still, like, joy-filled. And I was like, man, if I was you right now, I would have killed myself. Like, what is up with that? Like, how are you so, like, happy and, full of joy right now? So that whole year was just exactly what I said. I was just kind of getting the gears turning a little bit. And I reached out to my friend David, and I was like, look, like, I want to read the Bible. Like, I want to figure out what this is about. He was like, all right. Next semester, which would be my first semester of my junior year, he was like, we'll do a Bible study together, and I'll tell you how I read the Bible and, like, how to understand everything. So that summer hit, and I was doing gigs out in New Orleans, and I wasn't really, I wasn't saved, but I wasn't completely wandering anymore. I was kind of understanding, like, oh, there is a right and a wrong. There is a God. I just need to, figure some things out. Well, then in June, I figured things out really quickly because I got in a car accident. I was pulling on the interstate, and I spun out, and I got T-boned on the interstate. I woke up in the hospital. I was surrounded by people, and then all of a sudden the doctor came in like, hey, he has COVID, you'll have to leave. So I'm sitting in this hospital for 3 days by myself. I broke my leg. I had a really bad concussion. I had bruised lungs. I was all scraped up, banged up. And the only thing I could think was if I had not have woken up, I would be in hell right now. Because I did not give my life to Christ. I did not fully surrender everything to him. Like, I would be in hell without a doubt. And that was a really, really scary thought, and I felt the weight of death, like, sitting on my chest. Because I was like, there was such a slim chance of me not getting killed. But God still saved me. And so I spent the next few weeks, talking to a pastor of the church I had been going to. And then that August, I gave my life to Christ, and I got baptized at the end of that month. And then from there, it was like an upward trend of, like, there's obviously going to be some dips, but no matter what, it was still kind of going up. David, the one that was doing the Bible study with me, he did it, and I was learning how to read the Bible, how to get context, how to, research things that I don't understand to be able to understand what's happening in what I'm reading. And then he invited me to work at a Fuge camp because he was the worship leader, and he said, hey, I want you to play saxophone, I want you to play guitar, and you'll be a Bible study leader. And I was like, I don't know what any of that means. Sounds like a plan. And I was terrified because I was like, some of these kids have been saved years. And at the time of my interview, I had been saved 4 months, maybe. And I bombed my interview. I mean, it was horrible. And after I hung up, it was a Zoom call. I got done, and I was like, man, I don't think that could have went worse. And I'm not really nervous in interviews, but when it's stuff like I really don't know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I was doing, I was like, man, that sucked. And David told me this was way after camp. He was like, yeah, Kyle actually called me after that interview and said, hey, I'm gonna need some words of encouragement for this guy, because I don't know about him at all. Like I'm gonna have to bank on you more than I bank on him. And David had to pretty much like just tell him like, man, I promise, like he's good, he's fine, like I'll get him worked out, like don't worry, like David pretty much had to vouch for me, and that's funny in hindsight, but at the time I was stressing. I was like, oh my gosh, like imagine the whole, like one of the head honchos of Fuge being like, dude, I don't want this guy teaching kids anything. But just to shout out God, I got the highest staff eval rating of that summer. So God did use me. That was not me at all. By week 2, it was no longer even me moving my legs. Like it was literally like I had to lean on Him for literally everything. It was a rough summer, not mentally, not spiritually, but like physically and like exhaustion. Man, that was hard. But then after that, got back to school. I joined Worship Collective when that became a thing, and that meant I was in the chapel band, which was like a cool 180 because I didn't want to be in chapel when I got here. Now I'm willingly playing the guitar for it. And then also towards the end of that year, which I guess would be my technical, was that junior year, senior year, something like that. I think junior year. That's when I became an ambassador. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I told myself, if I'm going to give my life to Christ, I'm going to give him everything. And I have a lot of free time, and I want to just do everything I can. So I interviewed to become an ambassador. And when that happened, I got in, started working really hard to kind of, get over these, social anxiety, all this depression and stuff. And then I started pushing myself more. And after that year, I kind of pushed to be an SGA. We mentioned that earlier when I realized, there's something else I could do. So I joined SGA, and that was a lot of fun. And then my last year, I was an SGA, I was an ambassador, I was in all these ensembles, we went on mission trips in the Ramcorps. In Ramcorps, I started leading worship. I started singing, started playing guitar, getting out of my comfort zone, and then I had the opportunity to share my testimony at churches. And it was just a cool God thing, and this will be my little bow on top, is during the time, the last 2 years of college, I've been through financial hardships my whole life, and I was still going through financial hardships. My senior year, which is my 4th year, that was a long year, but my last year, I was like, it felt like rock bottom almost, and I got the opportunity to share my testimony for like one of UM's Give Days, and I shared my testimony because they wanted to milk it for money, which is fine. I go to school here, but I got a letter in the mail from an anonymous guy. I don't know who it was from. I still don't, and I still have the letter, and it had $500 cash in it. And he wrote me this whole thing about how just keep leaning on God. You're gonna get through college, and you're gonna do great things. I've met a lot of people like you that have done great things because they leaned on God and only God. Consider this blessing. Happy Thanksgiving. And then throughout the rest of that year, I had 2 times at churches where after I shared my testimony, after Ramcorps got done, we were packing up and stuff. I had people pull me to the side and tell me like, "Hey, God put it on their heart to bless you with this," and they'd give me a check. And it was literally like every time it was for something so incredibly specific, like the number was so incredibly like I needed this exact amount, no more, no less, and I got it. And that was kind of like my fresh air every time I felt like I was drowning. It was like God was just showing me like, hey, this is gonna be a hard year, but like I'm still here, and I'm gonna make sure you get through it. I became homeless my final year because I was living in the dorm secretly with my friend Luke, and then school found out, and they're like, hey, you can't do that. And I was like, okay. So I was couch surfing, and that was rough. And then Mr. Hughes, the director of Ramcorps, opened his home to me, and that was just another moment of like, God's gonna provide in a way that you never would expect. Because like, why the freak would I be living with Mr. Hughes for my last year of college? But I did. I had a bed, I had a bathroom, I had a place to be every night, no matter what. And it was just refreshing to know that like, even through like all the hardships, God's building you and He's using you for something. And it also just another layer of I almost wasn't able to enroll in my final year because it took all my scholarships away, and I had to have like 5 meetings. I had a bunch of staff vouching for me, and they were able to get me in. I owed the school like $13,000, and then by the end of it, I owed them I think 200, because God provided, and I leaned on Him. I was extremely in a questioning state. I'm not gonna lie, where I was like, all right, God, this is a funky test, man. I don't know what's going on, but I'm really scared. But I can doubt all I want, but He's still gonna move, and He's gonna provide abundantly and more than I've ever wanted or thought I wanted. And that's what that entire year was. And looking back on my story from when I was a kid all the way through now, it's like it's just at the very end of the day, if it does nothing more but allow someone to relate to you, someone that doesn't know Christ can relate to someone who does. That's more powerful than a lot of people that have been in church their whole lives and they know so much theology and they know like all the answers to stuff. They're so useful and that is so good. But you also have the other side of newer to the faith people. Give hope to those who think that it's too late. And that is something I've really been leaning on is, it's never too late. The only time it's too late is if you die. I mean, if you don't give your life to Christ before you die, that's kind of the line that's been drawn. But if I don't care if you're, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, if you still got a heartbeat, you can still give your life to Christ and you can surrender everything and you don't have to worry about death anymore. So that's my story.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's really, yeah, you too, man. Yeah. Okay, so next question. This is a question for both of y'all. What has God been teaching you from the time you got saved to where you are right now?
Vulnerability. That's a big thing. I actually talked about this in my small groups at church the past couple of weeks. I'm not a vulnerable person because I grew up in pretty rough households and I'm not a trusting person in general. But something, especially lately, this past, I'd say, I don't know, since like August, September, the summer, like it's been kind of been put on my brain and heart of like, you need to be vulnerable. You need to tell people what's going on because you can talk to God and He will listen and He will answer your prayers and but you need to be able to go to the people around you and be vulnerable and lean on the community that you have. And that's something I struggle with so hard. And something I've been kind of forcing myself to do is I go to City Hope on Tuesdays and I've been kind of leaning on the idea of I'm going to try to be as vulnerable as possible. And that's been helping. It's been not in like a selfish way, but like being able to have that opportunity to get out of my comfort zone and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. This is what I'm going through. This is what's on my mind. This is stuff I've been through. Like, I just want you to know that about me. And I want you to know that, like, as much as I try to put a front on and I try to say, like, hey, everything's good. I don't care. Like, I'm all good. Like, this is, like, real stuff. And that's been something, even my pastor, when I got my job at my church, he told me, he's like, we love you. And, like, people really like you here. But we don't know you. So you don't open up. You don't say anything. And he had me. I mean, he even had me go to a therapist to like see if like I could like kind of talk about that and see what the problem is. Not he didn't force me. It wasn't like a forced thing, but he was like I even go to therapy like just see if it helps you kind of open up a little bit. And that was kind of like a wake up call of like the church that I work for is telling me like, hey, like we barely know anything about you because you don't talk about yourself. You just you're happy and you say all the good things and you sing and you play guitar and you do all this stuff. But, like, who are you? What are you going through? What's your walk look like? So that's been a big thing bouncing around in my heart, in my mind lately. It's just trying to be vulnerable, trying to be open with people.
Honestly, probably something similar to that. Because we're kind of similar in a way that like we talk to a lot of people and we're kind of like a source of like light for a lot of people. Like when you see Thomas or Travis walk in, usually you expect to like laugh or like slap your knee and giggle or well, it's the same thing, but like but like I was that for people in high school, like in band especially. I was like people like looked up to me a lot to be the mood setter. We had a in high school we had a really great band director for 2 years, Jeff Lipa, and phenomenal guy, phenomenal band director, and he was really happy. We had an assistant band director, Mr. Williams, and he, man, they were just a dynamic duo of music, but also like leadership, and just like everything, like teamwork and everything. And then Mr. Lipa had to leave to go, or he left to go to a different school that was much closer to his house, which is, no fault of his own. He wanted to be closer. It was like he was driving like 45 minutes a day to get to work, whereas he could drive like 10 minutes to get to this new job that would pay him more. So obviously you take this one. But whenever he left, we got a band director who wasn't really a band director. We got him. He was a drama teacher. He was like our drama teacher, and it was pretty terrible. And so for 2 years, I had a great band director who was a perfect, like not perfect, but a great example of good leadership and musicianship and stuff. And then 2 years of someone who's very bad and almost like bipolar, in the sense that like sometimes he'd be really really happy, and then sometimes he'd just be extremely angry or sad or anything, or like he would flip a switch and just be extremely rude and mean to like a little kid, like a freshman. And so during that time, people like if something really bad happened and he got really mad and yelled at people, I noticed, because of the position I was in, after he would yell at them and he would go away, people would look to me to see what the mood was, like how do I react to this situation? Are we mad at him because he just screamed at us, or are we gonna let it hit us and brush right off of us and continue going forward with what we need to do? There's so many scenarios where that happened, like a band competition or something, like a small little, like the smallest bass drum player, he'd be like talking to somebody, and this band director would get in this kid's face and like yell at him and be super aggressive and walk away, and everybody else would like look to me and be, like they wouldn't know how to feel until they saw how I felt, and that put a lot of weight on me to feel like I always have to be happy, I always have to be a light for people. And then as I'm growing in my maturity, my walk with Christ, like being vulnerable, like you're talking about, and actually like understanding what that means to like talk to people about my struggles. Like I feel like I can talk to people about my struggles, whereas before it was like I couldn't. I had to be my image had to be something positive for everybody else around me. And so growing in vulnerability is something huge. And then also with that, being a leader in band comes pride, and pride is like the worst sin of all. I mean, everything kind of goes back to pride, because sin is just saying our way is better than God's, and that's just prideful, and it's wrong. So I think less of me and more of him is something that I've been learning. Obviously, everybody's learning that, but especially for me, I feel like growing up and finding that I was good with people, I kind of loved that fact that I was good with people, and I kind of prize myself on I can walk up to anybody and make a conversation and talk to them and make them happy to some capacity. And usually people would people would laugh at me because we'd be in line at like Dollar General, and I turn around and talk to somebody and just start a conversation and find somebody that I know from that conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, where do you live? And they'd be like, Bay Minette. I'm like, do you know this person? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I do too. And they're like, okay. But I prided myself on that, and I just, with that, I kind of made that my character instead of being molded by like the Word of God, like, and using that. And I didn't, what's the word, like I didn't use that skill to glorify the Lord. I used it to glorify myself. And I think that's what I've been learning, mainly.
I think just to kind of go off like the image thing, I think another thing, and the pride thing too, like, my last 2 years of college was like, I might have been like a little bit vulnerable, but then once I became like ambassador and then the SGA president, and I was like doing leadership stuff in Ramcorps and everything, it went to zero immediately, because like the image thing, like you have an image, and you do anything to protect it out of pride. It's like I want to look like the guy that has it figured out, that isn't screwing up, that you can go to during hard times because it's like he's always 100%, and that I think that's why it like shook me up, because I had relationships and I had people like friendships and stuff telling me like you do not like understand like how frustrating it is that you expect everyone around you to be vulnerable and you will not say anything about yourself ever. And that's what I spent 2 years hearing. And it's like from so many people, like so many different people. And it made me realize, especially after graduating, when I realized like I don't have to hold an image anymore, and I realized like that was just all like pride. Like there was 0% of it that was like there was like a little bit of fear of like looking weird, and like there's always that little bit of fear and vulnerability, but it's like it was mostly pride, where it's just like I don't want to look bad, I don't want to look weak, I don't want to look like a sinner. And I joke with myself and tell myself like that was just the Baptist in me coming out. So I need to go more another route or something. But it's like yeah, I know exactly what you mean with the image and the leadership thing, where it's just like it's hard to be vulnerable with people when they look up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I have a lot of respect for like pastors and even staff here that are vulnerable, and they tell you like this is something I struggle with, this is a hardship of mine, because it's like you look up to them, and a lot of times you have to if you're sitting here, but it's like they don't have to be vulnerable, but they choose to be because they know that they're in that leadership position because of God. It doesn't make them above anybody, because God's the ultimate leader. And He tells you lean on each other, be in community, glorify me in everything. Being vulnerable holds accountability. So
True. All right, last question. Who in the Bible could you relate to?
I feel like just about everybody. I mean, like, I feel like we get such small snippets of some people's life, like life. I feel like we can all relate to.
I feel like Job,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say Joe, but I was like,
but I'm not as good as Job was.
Yeah.
And Job, I mean, he was still not perfect. He was still a sinner, but I mean, like the hardships part, where I was like, I understand. Like it feels like, okay, everything's gone now. Now what? And it's like, well, we'll take something else.
Yeah.
But I think the other, on the other hand, like Daniel, being able to lean on God and get through the impossible, and everyone around you be like, how'd you get through that? It's like, cause God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, that's it. Like, what do you mean you only ate vegetables for however long it was, and you look better than all of my soldiers that were fed wine or meat and all this stuff? And it's like, it's God. It's literally the only reason why. I wouldn't have been able to do that on my own. If I said I could do this, I probably would have been dead. But God. And that's how I felt, going through life towards the end. Where it was just like, I don't know how I got random checks in the mail to pay for a bill that came up out of nowhere. I don't know how I was able to have a roof over my head last year. But God knew, and He orchestrated it.
Yeah.
And He's the reason for it.
Yeah, like I've been there too. Yeah, like with me, like just opening, like just doors opening, like and stuff like that. Like with like I like ever since graduation, like I was like, God, please, like I hope the job will open up, like real, like as soon as I graduate, and I did, and it was incredible. And there were several other God moments I've had throughout my life, and I can see His hand throughout my life and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. Yep. Yeah. Well, guys, this was awesome. Great interview. Do y'all have a life verse that that y'all kind of live by? That y'all live by. That's a life verse that has made a impact on your life.
1 Corinthians 15:55. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting?
I think one that has been pretty like prominent in my mind or in my life and mind since that junior year high school going into junior year was I think the verse was Philippians 1:21, which is to live as Christ, to die as gain. Like everything we have, everything James says, every good and perfect gift is from above, and that's true. Everything is from the Lord that we have, and so if we're alive, we exist to glorify Him and to make disciples. And if we die, we're going to be with Him. So, yeah.
I like Psalm 23 too. I don't know the whole thing, but I have a tattoo of the main points that I like from it, which is, "The Lord is my shepherd; I will fear no evil. You are with me, and my cup overflows." It's just a good reminder, no matter what, He's with you. You have nothing to be afraid of. You're blessed to be on more than you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, again, guys, thank you. I'm glad that I got to interview you. It's been a lifetime. So, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time on the Bird Time Podcast. Tell us what you close out first.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, let's pray. Father God, we love you. We thank you so much for today. We thank you so much for Tyler Peters. We thank you so much for everything he's doing, faithfully serving you, church somewhere, God. And I just pray that you just use him to glorify your kingdom, Lord, to bring honor and glory to you. I pray that you put on his heart to minister to the lost. I pray that you're just with me and Travis also, that you also put that weight on us, that weight when we see people who are lost, that we realize that is someone who you love and who you want to know intimately. So I just pray that you just help us focus on that fact, God. I pray that you just give Tyler a safe journey back up to where he lives. Ozark. And Lord, I thank you so much for tonight. In your holy name we pray, God. Amen.